This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. You tuned into another episode of Viewers Anonymous, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. Before we get into the madness, man, make sure you follow us on all social medias, on X and IG at ViewerAnon on Facebook at VA Pod Watch Group, on YouTube at Viewers Anonymous. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You can hit us up on Patreon at patreon.com/Viewers Anonymous. Become a viewer for the low price of $2.99 a month. You can get all of our behind the scenes content. You can get all the extra content that we throw in there as well. And last but not least, make sure you are listening to, or watching this on Spotify. It will help our numbers go up, and it will help us tremendously with ads and partnership programs. So now that that's out the way, what's up, my brother?
Can't call it, man. Just trying to live, man. Trying to live, man. Had some combos with somebody that, you know what I'm saying, tripped me out. Won't get into it today, but yeah, man, been doing all right, man. Trying to make it out here in these streets, man. How about you, man? How you feeling?
Man, 2 hours ago I was on the top of the world. You know what I'm saying? I was feeling great. I was feeling good, and you know what I'm saying, just lost to the number 13 school in the nation. So I'm kind of pissed about that. That boosted me up. I got cheated in the off season. So if anybody don't know what I'm talking about, I'm in the Dynasty League on college football 25, and your boy getting shitted on by the press, man. The media don't fuck with me. Excuse me. Yeah, they don't like me, man. They don't like my team, man. It's bad enough, you know what I'm saying? Brett Favre stole the money from us. Now the media don't want to rank us. So
wow.
Yeah, I ain't forgot.
I ain't forgot.
Stole that money from that volleyball team. That hit all of us, Brett Favre. But
well, he stole it for the volleyball team, but he stole it from Mississippi residents who was getting
same thing.
You know what I mean?
Taxes, we pay taxes. He stole from us.
Yeah.
Because here at Southern Mississippi, we are together. Okay, Southern Mississippi to the top. You feel me?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I learned the motto and everything. Good times, man. Good times, man. Listen, man, we got a great episode for you guys today, man. Today's episode, we are talking about a classic movie, a cult classic movie at that, that came out in 1999. Rated R with a 1 hour and 24 minute runtime, starring Eddie Griffin, Master P, and co-starring Andrew Dice Clay, Marla Gibbs, Bill Nunn, Clifton Powell, Anthony A.J. Johnson, Honest John, Bill Duke. Who else is in here? Eddie Griffin Jr., Linda O'Neill, Mia X, and I'm missing somebody. Hold on. I guess not. Excuse me. We're talking about the movie Foolish, directed by Dave Meyers and written by Master P. This is, how can I say this? This movie is one of those movies that today would be like a Tubi movie. But the importance of this movie, though, is the fact that it was written and created by Master P, who at the time, I know a lot of people probably don't remember. Well, people that listen to this definitely probably remember, because I think our age range is up there with us. But for the younger generation, right, they definitely wouldn't remember. It was a time in history where Master P was like the mogul. He was He was doing music. He was doing movies. He had shoes. He played in the NBA. I mean, it wasn't. He had a record label. It was nothing that Master P couldn't do at the time. He had cell phones. Like
Yep.
to this day, he still like has 1,000 businesses. You know what I'm saying? Master P was like the ultimate hustler. He was the guy that everybody wanted to be if you were from an inner city area or urban community. You definitely wanted to be like Master P at this time in around 1999 2000. Um, he had the No Limit movement, which came out. They was dropping an album a month, maybe 2 albums a month. It just seemed like every time you turn around, a new No Limit album was dropping. And then once his fame, like once his star started to rise, then he started creating his own movies. Foolish is one of them. The Hot Boys is another one.
Yep. Hot Boys. I got the hook up.
You know what I'm saying? Like he had a nice little thing going at the time. Not only that, his son was the second greatest child rapper ever.
Yeah, behind Bow Wow.
I'm sorry, I take that back. Third greatest child rapper ever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? First is Chris Cross, Bow Wow. They could kind of be switched out. Me personally, it's Chris Cross, Bow Wow, then Lil Romeo.
Okay.
But I don't disrespect anybody that put Bow Wow first. So Master P was like on top of the world around this time. You know what I'm saying? And for him to take this opportunity and give a pretty much starring role to somebody like Eddie Griffin at the time was not only a long shot, but this was something that nobody in Hollywood would have done, right? I want to say Double Take was what, 2000?
So Double Take was
maybe 2002.
Let me see. Undercover Brother was 2002. Double Take was 2001.
2001. Okay, I was close.
But you also got to remember he did have his show Malcolm and Eddie that started in 96.
He did have Malcolm and Eddie. However, this is the thing. He was the second guy in Malcolm and Eddie.
Yeah, because
Malcolm and Eddie was for Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was coming off of the Cosby Show. And everybody, you know what I'm saying, knew him as Theo. He got a little bit older. And this was supposed to be like it was his breakout show. Unfortunately, it only went to UPN. And it didn't, last as long because they didn't really see eye to eye. But nonetheless, he did have, a show that was, it was a good show though.
Yeah, it was.
So he did some TV, and at the time, he was doing stand up. It was still does stand up, but at the time he was like getting his stand up journey going, and it was like starting to kick off. Everybody knew Eddie Griffin for being a very funny comedian. And then he gets into a movie like Foolish, which to me I think kind of helped everybody see how funny he was as a stand-up comedian, because a lot of the stuff that's in this movie that when he's doing those stand-up sets are his actual jokes. Like he wrote those jokes and he did all of that, right? So to me, this is one of those things that like Master P shined a light on Eddie Griffin in this movie. He kind of, like seen something and was like, yo, I think this would be dope for him to have this type of movie. So if I'm not mistaken, I want to say this is his like first lead role.
Probably lead role, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.
And I think what this movie did was I think it was the same effect of, so you have this come out in 99.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was an independent film, the real people in the industry that, that need to see it saw it. And then, like you said, Double Take ended up coming out in 2001.
Yep.
And Undercover Brother came out in 2002.
Yep.
What I think what Foolish did for him in 99 is what Ice Cube did for Chris Tucker in 95.
That's a great
because
point.
The next thing that ended up coming out was Money Talks. And he was an executive producer on Money Talks. So even though he had roles before then, it was always, he's just the friend of a guy, all the type of shit like that.
Right.
But like, they shared, the Ice Cube and Chris Tucker shared the screen together, just like Master P and Eddie Griffin did. Rappers, two rappers. You know what I'm saying? Bringing comedians on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that I mean, yeah, Ice Cube kind of really started it because he was earlier, but Master P took a liking to it and did the same thing. And I think for all the things that Ice Cube that Master P was doing, like, I don't think people really like, you did a really good job in the intro, but like, I don't think people know the significance of what Master P was, not just to the hood rappers, just for entrepreneurs, period.
Yeah, great point.
Because to start the rap label, you know what I'm saying, No Limit, and then they tried to be funny. Oh, he started with Drug Money, then he had the name of the new No Limit, which anyway, but like, to take an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, you turn it into, and then we ain't gonna say that like he didn't sign no talent. Like, these were some very talented people. Like, I'm talking about, like, you know what I'm saying, Mia X, Mystical, Fiend. See, he brought his brothers on, which you supposed to do, Silk Shocker, Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cain and Abel. It was a lot of people. And to take that opportunity and then jump into the movie lane and get a guy like Eddie Griffin, like you mentioned, didn't really have a lead role yet, and to center the movie around him. Like, even the premise of the movie, like, he stopped, you know what I'm saying, with the I guess, quote unquote, thug life, to get in business with his brother and be like, look, I got a talented brother. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, put together shows. He basically did what he would have done in real life, basically. I'm gonna get out the streets, and I'm a, you know what I'm saying, somebody who got some talent, and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, build around them. But for not to nothing, this was a good script.
Very, very good script.
Like, the premise of the movie is, you know what I'm saying, is pretty dope. I mean,
be honest with you, the nigga wrote his real life.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so, that's the crazy part about it.
He could get very detailed with this one. He wrote his real life. He wrote some, he wrote his real life. He wrote some extra shit in there that, you know what I'm saying, he probably talked to some people about. But for not for nothing, this was this nigga's real. Not for nothing, every damn movie he's wrote has been about his real life.
Well, when you have an extravagant life, man, you can do that, man.
I got about his life.
Yep.
The Hot Boys is about his life.
Which was more based on Silk, though.
But still, come on, man.
Yeah.
Niggas was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's the beauty about what Master P did, right? His thing was, and this is what I always appreciated about Master P. His thing was always about getting out of the hood, right? Getting out of the streets. Making sure that this ain't your legacy.
Yeah.
Not only that, bro, like, if you look at the things that he was connected to throughout to this day, really, like, this nigga had Lil Romeo rapping on the ICDC college commercial. Like, that's genius.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that, to where you have this connection with an accredited community college. Your kids are coming up, and now they have an option to, you know what I'm saying, have that networking of, getting a letter wrote, getting a letter written, or possibly just going to that college for a little bit to go eventually do what they got to do, or just whatever. And I mean, we know his kids done. Which
all of them kind of like, I think all of them like went to college. Like,
yeah.
And I think I think two of them had basketball scholarships, if I'm not mistaken. It was three of them.
Lil Romeo played for USC.
That's right. I forgot about that. I would think about
what
the
I'm
other
saying?
ones who went to HBCUs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he got two of them that went to HBCU, right? Lil Romeo played for USC. Then his daughter,
She
she was
played.
on like Disney or Nickelodeon or something like that. She had a show. I'm like, bro, he just produces like literally and figuratively produces talent. You know what I'm saying? And it's like no matter what, he always finds a way to make sure that his family is good. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, C Murder, had to go through what he went through. But I mean, you ain't never heard about Silk the Shocker going broke.
Nah, you never hear that.
And
then C
out of
Murder
all the
doing.
niggas you done heard about, you never heard about Silk the Shocker having no kind of nothing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And they've been working on trying to get C Murder out for the longest. You know what I'm saying? Monica's still by his side and everything. But
and the nigga saved Snoop Dogg's career, bro.
Man, not only saved it, like Snoop. The one thing I do like about Snoop is like he's like a man's man. Like he will be honest and tell you, you know what I'm saying, his trials and tribulations of like leaving death row, not having no money, nothing like that. He's like, look, he's like, yeah, he was like, I go because everything was in Suge Knight name. And so he goes down there. He said the first thing Master P did, took him to a dealership. Which car you like? This one, boom. But he was like, yo, put it in your name. So this is your car. You know what I'm saying? Then he said he took him. What house you want? Boom, that's your house. Put your name on it. Boom, boom. He was like, because it's about ownership. And he, you know what I'm saying? He let him own. The game is to be the game is to be told, not to be sold.
Yeah.
Ain't that what it was called? Yeah, I think that's what the album was called. And like gave him his masters for that. He got paid for it, and like that took him to the next level, not only, you know what I'm saying, music wise, but financial wise. Because that was like Snoop was like, that was the first time I really started making money was when I went to No Limit.
Yep.
Because he was like, I didn't make nothing with Suge. So and
look at Snoop
now. Yeah.
He was in Hot Boys.
And now look at the businessman that Snoop is. And he said, yo, I wouldn't have been that businessman if it wasn't for Master P.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, that dude, man, he's a gem. He's also a person that don't really get spoken about a lot.
Right.
And I think it's because maybe, you know, when you look at maybe he didn't get the quote unquote success of like LL or Ice Cube or you know, Queen Latifah. Maybe he didn't get as successful as those people, but he did everything independently. They did.
Yeah, that was about to say, because he took the independent route. Because you know who else? You know who else does this? Well, he's just as successful. Who nobody ever talks about is Tech Nine.
Yeah,
and Tech Nine has been in movies. He has merchandise. You know what I'm saying? He's done a bunch of different things, a bunch of different ventures. But because he's always taking the independent route, he doesn't get mentioned as much. He doesn't get talked about as much. And for somebody like Master P coming from where he came from, even helping Cash Money, you know what I'm saying? Like, because remember, we always thought it was a beef between them two. Come to find out, he was making sure they was eating. You know what I'm saying? He's seen some people from where he from. Hey, let me show y'all the game. Let me, you know what I'm saying, show y'all how to get to this bread. Show y'all how to make sure, you know what I'm saying, this money grow. And then look at where Cash Money is, you know what I'm saying? They done created 2 billionaires.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But not just, you know what I'm saying, not just to make this all about Master P though. We got to talk about Eddie Griffin too, because there was a very, I don't want to say small window, but there was a time where after after this movie, Eddie Griffin was like one of the hottest guys in comedy. You you know what I'm saying, who wasn't named Steve Harvey, who wasn't named D.L. Hughley, who wasn't named Bernie Mac, or who wasn't named Cedric the Entertainer. He ended up doing, like you said, he ended up doing some movies, Double Take, Undercover Brother. He did a couple other things, but then his stand-up specials started to get the notoriety that they deserve. And I think with him as well, and this is why I like the connection with Master P and Eddie Griffin. If you've ever seen Eddie Griffin stand up, a lot of it is him talking about, you know what I'm saying, his past, the things he went through during childhood, you know, basically his community. But the one thing he does talk about a little bit in these is he has a little bit of history that he talks about of, you know what I'm saying, the black people in America. And the only other person that I could think of that is in that lane to that effect, at least, would be like a Paul Mooney. You know what I'm saying? Like Paul Mooney, he was brash, he was in your face, but the stuff that he was saying was like super real. And Eddie Griffin is this same type of comedian, but to me, I think he found a way to make it more acceptable because you laughed at it a lot more, right? He found a way to make it funnier, and that's what made his stand-up so great. So for Master P to focus this movie basically on Eddie Griffin as a stand-up and having him write the jokes and everything else, I think he kind of seen something in Eddie Griffin that he knew was like, yeah, this dude is really gonna take off. He's really gonna be something. I need to get in on this before, you know what I'm saying, it get to that point. Or I need to help him get to that point.
Yeah, and obviously it worked. I mean, when you look at, you know what I'm saying, where his career was before and after, because being the main person, and I think that this was the perfect time for him because of his type of comedy. Because I mean, the one thing that Eddie do be talking about is he's not with the bullshits with Hollywood, which he demonstrate that in the movie. There's a scene in the movie where his agent ended up getting him a meeting with Paramount, and they want him to be a drag queen.
Yeah, they want him to wear the dress.
Yeah, and he was like, "Fuck that." He was like, "Nah." So for them to put that in the movie and to put his personality, his type of comedy, and just I'm not talking about like the stuff on stage. That was something that wasn't on stage, but he was like, this is something that I either probably experienced or I'm just letting people further know if this becomes a point, I'm not doing it. Like I refuse to wear a dress.
He talks about it. He talks about it a lot. How, you know, I forget what the documentary is. There's a documentary that talks about it's not called the Laugh House. What is that? Shoot. It's a prominent comedy club that was started in Chicago by 3 black people. It was 2 guys and a woman. And it was the club that everybody ended up going to. I forgot what the place is called, but they started doing chocolate sundaes there. And this was a place where like the black comics could go to really like get their shit off. And you know what I'm saying? Like at the time when comedy was like comedy, everybody was going there. And then, you know what I'm saying, even other comics started to try to come there and do their thing. And they, you know, they was one of the biggest comedy clubs in America. But in that documentary, they talked about how there was this thing that they talked about where they always tried to make, they didn't necessarily say comedian because they just said the black man, like the black actor or whatever. But it was a thing where they would try to emasculate like black comedians, black actors and stuff like that by making them wear a dress. And they had went back to like Flip Wilson. They went to like Jamie Foxx. They went to Martin, you know what I'm saying, like as examples. And then they had other guys who refused to do it and never did it. And they talked about how pretty much like, yo, that's the way that they try to get you to conform in order to get to a certain point of success. And when you look at I mean, like, as much as they try to say, well, nah, that's not a real thing, as much as you look at like the history of comedians, and I'm talking about the comedians who are like superstars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Martin Lawrence did it. Chris Rock did it.
Eddie
Jamie
Murphy did it.
Foxx, Eddie Murphy did it. You know what I'm saying? I want to say Richard Pryor did it. Flip Wilson did it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a thing where it was just like, okay, you started to look and you was like, I mean, shit, Cedric the Entertainer did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was like, it was this consistent thing.
But you also got to mention Robin Williams did it. John Candy did it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's also a thing of like, just like, yo, like, I think that they looking at it like, yo, it'd be real funny having a man portray a woman and see how funny we can make this shit when we're basically like making fun of women in a comedic way of like, oh man, you know, oh, my grandma would do that, or you know, this, that. What made me remember John Candy was I was just flipping through Tubi, boy, and I saw they had Nothing But Trouble on there.
Yeah.
So I watched Nothing But Trouble the other day.
Yeah.
He ain't say that when he was a woman, but
right.
But it was funny.
But I mean, you are right. Dana Carvey, he's done it before. David Spade has done it before. Adam Sandler has done it before. So I mean, like, the list goes on. Like, it's a thing in comedy where, you know, Ari Spears, he's another black comedian who had to do it. But I think it was more so of a thing of, for them, I think that they look at it like, for the Dana Carveys, the Robin Williams, the John Candys, you know, the Adam Sandlers, it's a choice, right? Because they didn't necessarily have to do that in order to get to the point that they got.
Mm-hmm.
I think for them, they looked at it as, yo, if you don't do this, then you don't get an opportunity to get to the top. Because remember, it was a time where Kevin Hart was like, yeah, nah, I never put on a dress. Never, ever. Like, there's no, he said there was no scenario that I would put on a dress. And then Saturday Night Live, when he did the skit with I forgot what the little girl's name was, but he dressed up like her. He had a dress on. You know what I'm saying? Even Dave Chappelle talked about, you know, when they want you to wear the dress. He talked about it on Oprah, actually. But to me, I always looked at it as, in comedy, as long as it's funny, that's all that matters, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a comedian, that's like the golden rule. As long as it's funny, you do it. As long as it's funny, if it's gonna get the right laughs, that's what you do it for. And even to the point of like this, right? Like, Foolish is dealing with the internal struggle of, am I gonna sell out, or am I gonna stand my ground and be like, nah, and you know, take my own way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I reject this, I could possibly lose a deal that could, you know, change my life forever. But if I do this, then how am I gonna feel? Like, is my integrity gonna be intact? And I think that was a very interesting point that they added in this, because on the flip side of that, right, you got Quentin, or $50. I don't know why that was his nickname. That was a horrible nickname. I'm just gonna call him Quentin, because $50 is trash. But you got Quentin, who his thing is, yo, do I continue to stay in the streets and keep risking my life, or do I take what I got and go build something with my brother where I can just be legit and I don't have to keep looking over my shoulder all the time? And so, go ahead.
There's something else to go along with that, though.
Talk about it.
But before we get into that, One quick thing for the people, if they're tired of energy drinks, they give you little to no results. Then W Energy got you covered with a selection of energy or hydration drink mix, which I got watermelon splash. You know what I'm saying today. It got different unique flavors, great tasting flavors, no jitters, no crash, zero sugar, zero filter, just clean energy.
That's right. And with ingredients like coffee fruit extract and B vitamins, W is the best choice for energy or hydration. You can even get a cool shaker to mix your drink in, kind of like this one right here. You know what I'm saying? Um, or you could get a different one with designs that are inspired by other creators, anime, and even video games. Head over to w.gg and use the code VAPOD for 10% off your order. That's w.gg with the code VAPOD for 10% off your order. Fuel up and stay focused with W.
All right. So to make this point, I gotta set it up. You know what I mean? So basically, Foolish and Fitty is going down the road. You know what I'm saying? He trying to tell him, yo, you need to visit grandma and all this type shit. So you don't know what they're doing. They're going in the trunk, all this type shit. So next thing you know, they bust in this place. It's a robbery. You like, oh shit. Like they jump right into it, right?
Yeah.
So then we thinking, you know what I'm saying, Foolish is being too foolish. Dude took his thing off. He sees that it's foolish. He's like, oh, dang, we know these guys are like, hi, being funny. Gonna find out, dude over here having a heart attack. The dude that's having a heart attack end up being the guy that 50 works for cousin.
Right.
So he goes in to tell him, yo, basically, you know what I'm saying, we were fooling around. The cousin had a heart attack and died, right? And he was like, so you telling me that's my cousin you got in the trunk? He was like, yeah. He was like, all right, El Dorado, that's what his name was. So he's like, all right, so 50 is just all he do is collect debt. So he's not no straight gangster. He just, you know what I'm saying, he collect debts for El Dorado. Well, now El Dorado's like, nah, now you gonna control all the gangs, all the drugs, and all this type of shit. And he was like, man, there ain't no goddamn drug dealer. Yeah, Master P can't act, but I'm trying to tell you, but look, he got talents in other places.
But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. He couldn't do a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
He was an army Swiss knife, man.
Have you ever seen that nigga in them beeper commercials?
Yo, terrible.
Never would have bought a beeper off of Master P. However, he still sold them motherfuckers. Bro.
Okay, but the point I'm making is I think he was cool with not running numbers, but collecting debts. But when he forced him to like, yo, now you handling the drug dealers, he was like, yo, I don't want to do that shit. So now he's like, all right, let me put together a comedy show for my brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bring in Desiree, which was a terrible idea.
Absolutely.
But he felt that he just needed somebody with some law experience. That's all that was. And that's just when you know somebody in the hood. But like, dude, you don't go to your brother's ex-girl that he got pregnant and then he leaves to go to the army to get some money and then come back and the baby gone.
Yeah.
So, I think that that was the push that he needed. I think that if that dude didn't have a heart attack, he might have not have jumped into this and tried to go straight. That's
what I'm saying. That's what the internal struggle ends up becoming, right? So you make a great point. If El Dorado don't lose his cousin, then you know what I'm saying, off of 50 trying to rob him.
Well, for jokes, but
still, you know what I'm saying? Nigga,
don't play jokes like that, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Niggas not joking in the hood trying to rob nobody. That's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? Niggas could have got shot for real.
For real.
Yeah. But if that situation doesn't happen, right, you don't, you know what I'm saying? You, like you said, you don't get to the point to where it's like, all right, maybe I need to get up out of this. But the thing is that they both kept making just horrible decisions.
Yeah.
Constantly. They just kept constantly making bad decisions that kept leading them down these stupid fucking paths in life. You know what I'm saying? the foolish, having a baby, not being able to, you know what I'm saying, afford a baby. Now I got to go to the military, but the girl that I'm with, she ain't worth a quarter for real. And I come back, and now they gone.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Quentin, this nigga, he out here running the streets, you know what I'm saying, thinking he missed the big time.
But don't
playing
forget,
a stupid game.
Don't forget, he started dating Desiree when he left and got the abortion for her.
Of course. See what I'm saying? Bad decisions.
That's crazy.
Bad decisions.
Nah,
So,
I'm gonna tell you one of the foolish bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the foolish bad decisions. So he laying in the bed, and then his girl, like, she was like, "What the hell were you last night? You didn't get in at 3 o'clock in the morning." She said you only said you had a 9 o'clock show. He was like, it was 11, and he was like, let me get some damn sleep. And so then, so the little boy come in there asking for some money, right? Mm-hmm. So he was like, "What about this? Oh, I ain't your daddy. He was like, "Boy, you know you got me." He was like, he gave him some lunch money. He said, "Go get yourself an education. So you want to be dumb like your mama." And then I said, this is my favorite part. That must say, man, he said, "Pussy was dry last night." Like saying, hey, but I'll never tell no girl.
That's crazy.
The pussy was dry. Hey, but that junk get me every time. But every time I see that shit, I'm gonna say, "Pussy was dry last night." Like, say it. That shit is hilarious. But then she hit that mug inside the head and then hit Grandma's thing. And then go downstairs and break his own fucking windshield on the car. And then I love how he talks to himself. He like, man, he sat on a piece of glass. He said, "Look at you." He said, "Man, you got to be the most ignorant nigga it is, man." He said, "Break your windshield out your own shit. Look, it ain't raining. Your ass be wet."
And you know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy though? I think his voice is like the key to him being funny.
Like Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what makes him funny, because anything that he says, it sounds so like off-putting, and it's always gonna be funny. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he says is one of them things that he just gonna make people laugh. Well, I don't know about like now. Like recently, he ain't been as funny to niggas as he used to be. You know what I'm saying? Because he joined the flat Earth community. But you know what I'm saying? He been on YouTube on this Alex Jones shit. But but it's like I said, it's just those dueling things, right? It's just those dueling things that they have eternally. But then on the other side of that is the fact that they are siblings, and you know what I'm saying? Like they trying to find a way. Well, they eventually find a way to start working together, and they eventually come together. But they butt heads on that road to getting there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially when the grandma died.
Absolutely, because that's a major. You know, that's one of the major things in life that, you know, when especially if she's the glue and the rock of the family, that should have break everything up. You know what I'm saying? One of the memorable scenes to me is, I want to say I think he was either supposed to go to the comedy show or he was supposed to do an audition or something. And instead of doing it, he was just in the room drinking.
Oh, when he was laying on the floor?
Yeah. And he was in the room drinking. And that had always stuck out to me, because I was like, damn, bro, like, that's one of them things to where, especially like now as a grown man, you know, you ain't necessarily like had that type of moment, but like we've all been at that point in life to where, like, you know, we were sitting there and we was just either like super stressed out or just super worried about something, to where something was just constantly on your mind, or where you was just like, fuck it, bro, I don't want to do shit. I don't even want to leave this motherfucker. And I thought that was a very important scene to add in there, man, to like really show you the type of shit that he was going through. Because if you looked at what Quentin was going through and what he was going through, it didn't really look like Foolish was really going through nothing crazy. It just looked like this nigga was about to be on the up and up. The shit that Quentin was going through, you was like, hey, this nigga better get this shit done. Because if he don't get this shit done, nigga, it might be night for that nigga. You know what I'm saying? With the implications of what he was dealing with.
Well, I don't know, because when you look at what happened, so he flips on his brother because, you know, he was trying to tell him, yo, you need to go see grandma, man. You know, she's sick and all this type stuff. Oh man, last time I saw her, she spit in my eye. Fuck that. Like, that's your grandma. Go see your grandma.
Right.
So anyway, he gets the phone calls, grandma died, and goes to the funeral and come home, and this girl done took everything out the house, out the apartment. Now, even though it's a sad scene, he say something to make you laugh because he's just funny like that. That's what comedians do. He said, took the stereo and lead the speakers.
That's crazy though.
Why did you could have stuck that note on anything?
Yeah,
you gonna leave the speakers to stick the note on that. Now you sit there with a stereo with no speakers. Like, now you who dumber? But
shit, you go buy some speakers, nigga. You can't go buy no stereo.
True, this is true. But just the fact of like, I mean, bro, she took everything, bro, except his grandma picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, now I don't know if she paid for all of it. Who knows? I don't know. But to lose your grandmother and then come home and then notice that everything in your place is took, it's kind of like, yo, I ain't fucking with my brother right now. My girl now left me.
I just feel like everything is over. It feel like it's over. And that's why I was saying, like, that's why I think that is super, super important, because what ends up coming after that is they end up coming together and, you know what I'm saying, he go on stage and he rip.
Yeah, he ripped that.
He kills that shit. And it's like, you know, what's the saying? To get to something, you got to go through something.
Yeah,
go through something to get to something. And it's like that was the perfect scene for that. You know what I'm saying, for that turn, and for, you know what I'm saying, for us to see that rise, that come up. Because it's like, bro, you know, like I said, the one thing about that is, as a man, you know what I'm saying, it's relatable. But the one thing about Master P's movies, right? And that's why I said, like, as far as the, you know, inner cities, as far as the urban communities, when you watch these films, if you grew up in that type of environment, it's everything that he makes as far as these movies is relatable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes he don't go to the extra route. Like you said, on this one, he was just the dude that collected debts. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't actually in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And Hot Boys, you know, Silk the Shocker was in the streets, but the nigga was going to school. The nigga was learning karate, which I don't understand what the fuck that was. I never understood what the fuck that was about. But nonetheless, the nigga was in school. The nigga was learning karate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was doing positive shit. And I got the hookup. Same thing. These niggas was just hustlers. They were just trying to find a way to make it out the hood and get, you know what I'm saying, and make a better way. These niggas found out a way to hustle some cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Bout it. You know what I'm saying? Same shit. Like, but he always made sure, like, it was a message in there, but not, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't like to the point to where it was like, yeah, stay in school. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like no corny ass message. It was just a message like, look, you know what I'm saying, shit might seem bad, but you can always find your way out of it. You know what I'm saying? You can always make sure you get to where you need to be. And I think that's the beauty of the stuff that he makes. You know what I'm saying? And even in his music, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that he wrote in his music, he done made some songs about being in the streets, but he done also made some inspirational songs. He done also, you know what I'm saying, showed you that, hey, you don't got to be in real life. You don't have to be in this position forever. You know what I'm saying? You can actually still go be better than what you were before. And to me, like, that's what I mean when I say, like, that relatability of, you know, I know shit seem rough right now or times is hard, but hey, you know, tomorrow is a whole new day. You know what I'm saying? You can get up and you can go bust a move, and all that shit have changed in the blink of an eye. And I think that's why, you know, a movie like this, a movie like, you know, hold on, didn't he do baller blocking too, or am I tripping?
I would have to look that up. I'm not sure. Not
Is
sure
that
if he
a?
did that one.
But anyway, why we looking that up? But I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying, like those were the type of things that he, you know what I'm saying, like put into his craft to where you could see, like, yo, this dude really has a vision. And you know, the character in this film, Quentin, he had a vision. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for him to come up with the idea of, yo, I got a brother that do comedy. Let me just do a comedy show instead of going around here dealing with these niggas that I don't deal with. You know what I'm saying? Putting myself in a stupid situation. Just let me go. Let me do this comedy show. You know what I'm saying? And get this money the right way.
Yeah. And also, man, when it comes to, I mean, I know it was a movie, but it still also was a set because I'm
Never
pretty
mind,
sure
ball
Master
about
P.
cash money.
Oh, okay. And I know Master P didn't have nothing to do with this. I know this was all Eddie Griffin, but I mean, he still put together. That's one of the best sets I've seen.
Yo, murdered it.
That shit was amazing. Now he has some other stuff, even the earlier shows that he done and stuff like that. But like that last set that he did, sometimes I would just fast forward through the movie and just watch that last set.
Yeah,
because it was
that's
good.
really him doing comedy.
Yeah, it's really him doing comedy. Now, okay, yeah. Now, only thing is, you put together a story about, what I'm saying, like the whole shit about his dad. Yeah, that shit was funny.
Yeah,
I must say, why did he sit in the front row? I don't know. He said, I cracked on him for 4 days. Died next day, had a heart attack. But to tie that into, getting Desiree pregnant.
Yeah.
And he was like father, like son, I had plans. I'm just saying, like, it was just so, like, dude, the way he tied everything in together and just masterfully just put that shit together, man. That is a great fucking set. If anybody want to see just comedy at its greatest, was like the last like 10 minutes of Foolish is just amazing. And but it's one of those things where, like, when you know something is good, right? And but it's not to the masses. It kind of feels like it's like a secret. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, was to bring attention to this movie, because like maybe it ain't, when it comes to Master P, maybe it's not the best acting. Like a lot of the females, I don't really know any of the females really that was in this movie. But the men though, you know what I'm saying? You got Clifton Powell Jr. in this, you know what I'm saying? Like, you mentioned a lot of the names in the beginning. Even the one guy that was his partner, that motherfucker, what's his name? Jonathan Banks. He's the dude from Breaking Bad. And what was the spinoff?
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, like this dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just his name was Numbers. I had no idea his name was Numbers.
Hey man,
I did not know that. But no, man, it's just like I think that this movie is well, at least the comedy in this movie, because Eddie Griffin showcased everything. He showcased how brilliant he was. He showcased his talent of voices. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny when he do Giovanni. That shit is hilarious.
Bro, have you ever seen him do Sammy Davis Jr.?
Well, he did it a little bit in this. At the end credits,
hey, bro,
when he played the Jamaican dude first, let me put me by a son.
Yeah,
hey, bro.
Yeah, that nigga doing Sammy Davis Jr., bro, is he got that.
She said, thought you were dead. He said, just fake the whole thing. Hey man, that dude is stupid, man.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man, it's just this movie, man. It's so funny, and like the whole, and I meant to mention this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Just you could tell that him and his grandma was tight because
Mm-hmm.
that whole scene when he was on the piano doing that whole song about the only stars in the sky,
Yeah.
and then and then so he did it. He said, "Remember, you used to do that for my grandma." Ow! And he was like, he's like, I got another one. Me do another one. She said, "Nah, baby, just stick to your comedy." But that joke is so funny. He's like, "Oh, grandma, that was cold." He's like, "I got another one anyway." I'm sorry, man. That shit is hilarious. She's funny though. She's funny though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. She been acting since
God, man. She been a long time, but
so she was in the Jeffersons.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga,
Jefferson,
bro, you know how fire that is to have Marla Gibbs in your shit, bro.
I know, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how Master P pulled that off in 99.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, that's some big shit, bro. Like, especially for that time, knowing who Marla Gibbs is and the work that she's done, bro. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, and even though she wasn't in it a lot, she still made an impact though. Still made an impact. But yeah, that was kind of the like you could tell that relationship. And like when she told 50, like, just because you go to stay with your daddy and he wasn't a good man, I mean, you got to be a good no, I forgot how she worded it. But yeah, man, this movie, man, is wild. It's wild, man. And then like I was mentioning, man, just the whole thing of just showcasing his talent. Like, Eddie is one of those guys, even though, because I think the thing with Eddie is he seems to be like a no bullshit type of person. Mm-hmm. Like, because, he done some interviews with Vlad of like basically feeling like he's been kind of like blacklisted or whatever because he don't like play like the quote unquote game.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look, we're not even there, and we just hear that it's a fraternity. Not even really a fraternity, but it's just like you kind of gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta play this game, you know what I'm saying, to be like in the club. And if you don't play by a certain rule, then you may not get a lot of roles. True. And it seems like that kind of happened to Eddie Griffin in a way, which he speaks on it, which he feels strongly about it. If you listen to some of his Vlad interviews, that he feels that he's been blacklisted. And when you look at his talent, you look at what, I don't want to say Eddie Murphy, because see, it's hard. I'm trying to think of some people that you would put. So like, what is the tier? Because you're good at this comedy shit.
Uh-huh.
What is the tier after Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, and what's that man's name? Kevin Hart? Because I'm looking at like the reason I put them in a separate tier is because they got a production.
Right.
That's why I put them up there. And then you start naming people like Steve Harvey, Said Entertainer,
shit, Bernie Mac,
Cat Williams, Bernie Mac. Do you put Eddie in that tier? Talent wise.
Oh, just so
yeah. I'm talking talent.
Yeah, okay. So if we going off talent, then my personal list is completely different.
Well,
because to me, just I'm gonna throw this out because I know you that ain't probably what you mean, but just to me, like Cat Williams is up there with a Dave Chappelle, with a Richard Pryor, with a Eddie Murphy, right? Eddie Griffin would be up there with a Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor. Like because I've seen they stand-ups and the content of they stand-ups.
Yeah.
It's at that level. But as far as what probably like society would look at, if you would say like Eddie, Richard, Dave, you could say Bernie would have been up there because like his trajectory, I think he'd have got up there with them. So
Mhm.
I put them four up there like in that A category. That B category would be like Steve Harvey, um, DL Hughley, um, Kevin is up in the A. Roy Woods Jr. would be in that B category, like those type of guys. And then I would probably say that they would probably have like Corey Holcomb, Eddie Griffin, um, like those guys in the, you know what I'm saying, like in that C category. Because they don't necessarily have like the fame and the notoriety, but it's guaranteed laughs when you go to that show because it's no hold bar. It's no holds bar. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, ain't no censorship when you go to them.
All right. This was the point that I was making.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far I was speaking not on stage wise, because so I put the reason I listed it the way I did, the reason I said Eddie, Kevin, and Martin
You
was
talking
because
about
they
like
had
success?
yeah, in a way.
Oh
Like,
well, yeah,
but yeah,
he would probably
so
be like B. He would probably be B.
so that's why I was saying like in that Steve, because like all of these people that I was naming like been in movies and stuff like that,
Right.
but they, you know, they kind of
They didn't
like
have the consistency
yeah,
because like
like
because Steve Harvey had a run. We're like now if you look at Steve Harvey with what he's been able to do with like the latter part of his career with the Family Feud and the Think Like a Man's and those type of things, that you know what I'm saying, like that keeps him in that B lane. I feel like if he'd have did like more movies where he'd have been the star and everything else, you could have pushed him up to A. But with Eddie Griffin, like he's had that moment where he was like the guy, right? Like he was the one. And if you like even talking to a guy like a Kevin Hart or a Eddie Murphy or those type of guys, that when they talk about Eddie Griffin, they'd be like, yeah, he was, he was there. And we've seen it, Undercover Brother, Double Take. We've seen him do major pictures. We've seen him do those. So yeah, I would say B. He's
and
like right up under, well, not right up under, but he's in that next tier of, you know what I'm saying, like the Cat Williams, and I mean, I would probably put Cat down there too. Cat would probably be in B because he's never really been like the guy, but he steals the show. So, you know what I'm saying? To me, that's Eddie Griffin. He steals the show. You know what I'm saying? He had a TV show that ran for like 4 or 5 years, goes to do movies, goes crazy. Stand up was going crazy. And then I don't know what happened after that, but it kind of like,
well,
you know what I'm saying?
that's what
Yeah,
I was getting at. What
yeah,
I was like the round out the point
right,
is talent wise, he's there,
right,
and then this drop off happens,
right.
and that's where he feels that he was blacklisted for some of the things that he believed in, some of the things that he wouldn't sacrifice, and
And
all
some of the
types of
shit he
things
said,
like that. Yeah, and some
sure,
of the things that he said, yeah.
sure.
And so the point I was making was he's up there with those people, but he
Oh yeah,
don't have the career that they
yeah,
had because
absolutely.
they were
Absolutely.
in the fraternity. They at least played along with like DL
They played the
style.
game.
Yeah, and you see DL is kind of in the Eddie Griffin boat. Now, yeah, he got a radio show and all that, but this is what I'm saying. DL don't be in movies like that no more.
DL weren't really never in movies.
I mean, he was on it. Well, he did. Well, he did like. Well, yeah, you're right. Because I remember him in Brothers. What else was he in? I think he did like one.
DL was a TV show guy.
Yeah, because he had the DL Hughley show.
He had the DL Hughley show. He was the TV guy. He wasn't necessarily like the because I think because he was a lot older too.
I think he did more than Brothers, man, he had to do more than Brothers.
I mean, he probably had like some guest spots here and there, but he didn't really do movies like that.
Okay, he was in Inspector Gadget, Scary Movie 3.
See what I mean?
Let me see. This is all special. See, yeah, this is all. Yeah, that's all specials. Wait, that's producer. But yeah, so yeah, he didn't do. No, wait a minute. No, wait, yeah, he did. What the fuck is Heartbeat? He was. Oh, that's a TV show. He was in 7 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Cat Run, Glory Days, Spy School, Cloud 9. No, Slackers. Not Soul Plane. No, he did. No, he did some stuff.
Bro,
Inspector Gadget too. So yeah, but this is the thing. All of that shit. That's all early. It's all early 2000s though.
Yeah, but I'm saying they like guest spots.
They are, but my point of what I'm saying is there was a drop off. Is what I'm saying. And when DL really started, you know what I'm saying, speaking his mind and stuff like that, and DL's another person that don't play the game. Like he really kind of beats to his own drum for the most part. And I think the TV show was in the fucking it started in 98 and it went to 2002.
That's what I'm saying. He had a TV show. He played the game.
You missing what I'm saying. After 2002, that's when he really started getting on his shit.
Hold on. Before hold on real quick. I mean, I'm sorry, don't hold on real quick. I'm saying, I'm holding on. But
yeah,
go ahead.
What I'm saying is like, yeah, he played the game then, and then like he got to a point, like even with Eddie, like I mean, I think that he played it for a while and was like, yo, fuck this shit. Like, this is how I feel about certain stuff. I'm gonna say what I say. I'm not playing along with your games. I'm not wearing a dress. Like, you know what I'm saying? They kind of put their foot down to certain things, and then Hollywood is like, well, we don't need you. Like, there's a lot of comedians that we can get to fill in. And maybe they wasn't as talented as those people, but I just feel that there's a few similarities. But I still don't think me personally, I don't think DL's as talented as Eddie Griffin. I think Eddie Griffin is just more funnier. Okay. But that's just,
you said his show was from
98 to 2002.
All right. So in 2000, and this is why I say like he wasn't never on that level for real. In 2000, Kings of Comedy came out. You remember how hot Kings of Comedy was?
You want to know the funny thing about it? That's the only shit I don't remember.
My point exactly. The only joke you remember, if you remember it, is the wrench around. Right?
I don't even remember.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I was confused why he was even. Okay, let me be quiet.
I know, but this is what I'm saying. Remember, he had a TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steve Harvey had a TV show.
Bernie didn't have
a TV show.
Not yet. Yep.
Right. That the Kings of Comedy was the hottest thing out because it's never been done before. 4 headliners on a tour that end up doing a movie. The movie does spectacular, right?
Yep.
Everybody's career gets boosted except D.L. Hughley.
And you think it's because his set wasn't memorable?
No. I think it's because he wasn't as funny as all the rest of them. But also, the reason I think D.L. Hughley was even added on was because he had a TV show. He was already playing the game. If you ever, I don't know if you ever, well, you don't really watch stand-ups like that, do you?
Not like that.
Okay, so quick history lesson about me. I was at the house a lot as a kid by myself. And we had like DirecTV, we had like Dish Network, all that shit. And remember at the time, you used to be able to get this card from the bootleg man that had all the channels on it.
Mm-hmm. You talked about it.
Yeah. Well, one of those channels that, because you was able to go like make your channel list and all that other stuff. I don't know if you was in all that, but I was. So you can make like your own channel list. So I would make a list of channels that I specifically watched. So whenever I'm watching TV, I flip to that and I don't got to go through a whole bunch of fucking channels to get to what I wanted to watch, right? Comedy Central was like the biggest thing to me from like 8th grade to fucking maybe 11th grade, maybe 11th, 10th, 11th grade. So like for them years, I'm Comedy Central out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking Daily Show. I'm talking Reno 911. I'm talking Crank Yankers. I'm talking Chappelle Show. I'm talking the 30-minute stand-up specials that they used to drop. I'm talking even the throwback joints that they used to drop. I'm talking like all of those things. Like anything that was on Comedy Central between those years, I've more than likely seen it.
Mm-hmm.
They even had, I believe, what is his name, bro? Colin Quinn. Colin Quinn had a show on there that he used to bring comedians on, and they used to debate about topics, but they used to have to like make jokes out of the shit to debate about the topics. That's how I found out about Patrice O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's how I found out about Patrice O'Neal, Bill Burr, just all them dudes. They used to all be on there. But they used to have a 30-minute comedy specials, and it was all stand up, and they used to have like multiple people on there, and it would come up, and then they would introduce them. They would come on stage, do their set, and then that was the end of the show. I've seen countless DL Hughley stand up specials, whether it's an hour long, 30 minutes, whatever. He's not funny. He's never been funny to me. Never been
Same
funny.
opinion.
But somehow, some way, that nigga was able to get a TV show. And if you know anything about comedy, you didn't get a TV show if you wasn't funny. He was funny to white people. I'll say that. White people loved him. That's how he gets on. I want to say it was ABC. Yeah, he was on ABC. If you knew how difficult it was for a comedian to get a show at that time, because I know it probably, for most people, they look at it like Martin, they look at like the Wayans, they look at all that. You don't understand what those shows went through, because those shows was being put on networks that were just starting. And if you know anything, we talked about this a long time ago about how shows would put a bunch of black programming on, and then they would get to a certain point and then switch everything up. UPN eventually became the WB network, which eventually became the CW network. Up into the CW, it had like the Wayans brothers on there. They had Homeboys in Outer Space. They had Moesha. They had all kind of shows that was up there. And then once it got to that certain point, because I think they had like, no, Dark Angel was Fox. What the fuck is the other one? Not Buffy. It's another one. The one with Jessica Alba. I forgot what the fuck it's called. But Jessica Alba had a show that was on not the CW, but the WB. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I think Buffy was on there too, and then the Angel show was on there, and they did crossovers and all that weird shit. And then that's how they eventually start changing that shit from all black shows to what it currently is now with the CW. Fox did the same thing. They had In Living Color, they had Martin, they had all of these shows, and then eventually they changed that shit to what it is now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was very difficult for most black comedians to get TV shows, really any comedian to get TV shows, but specifically black comedians to get TV shows around this time, especially on major networks. ABC, NBC, CBS, those have already been established. So to get a show, WB also has Steve Harvey, but to get a show on there was one of those things like it was unheard of. Because I don't know if you remember like the NBC lineups where it was like Boy Meets World, Fresh Prince, they had like Saved by the Bell and all that shit on there. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the type of shows that was getting on there. Nigga, for the Hughleys to be a show on there, come on, bro. Like, where did that nigga come from? You know what I'm saying?
True. And I think the point that I'm trying to make was he was playing the game at that time.
Yes.
You get about 2010-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see this dude no more. That's the only point I was trying to make was like later on, him and Eddie Griffin, we didn't see them like that anymore. And it was because they wasn't playing the game.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then they were.
Well,
but
Eddie Griffin, yes. D.L. Hughley, I think it wasn't about not playing the game. I think he just phased out.
I mean, and it could be that too, because like you said, I never thought he was funny. He's a smart guy.
Very.
He's a smart guy, but it's just
funny.
Yeah.
But there is also this thing in the black comedy world of one at a time. And throughout history, it's kind of been proven. It was Eddie, and then it was Martin, and then
there was some overlap though.
Between who?
Because you had Miss Parker, you had
Miss
Steve
Parker.
Harvey. What you remember? Monique.
You talking about Monique?
Was it Miss Parker? Yeah,
that was on the UPN network.
Oh, you would mean it on a network? You don't mean
about success. I'm talking about at that level.
Because what I thought you were saying that one at a time.
Oh no, yeah. When it come to being like at the low on the totem pole, yeah, everybody can eat for sure.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now.
Because the Parkers was on UPN. When UPN turned to the WB, Steve Harvey came through, and it was there, right? But remember, they had Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Mark Curry had a show. Yeah. Back in the day, I think that was on NBC or ABC. In the House with LL Cool J. Even though he's not a comedian.
You know that's what I was like.
You know what I'm saying? But remember, Fox had In Living Single. They had Martin. They had In Living Color. What was the other one? It's another one that I'm missing. It was In Living Single, New York Undercover. Yeah. I'm missing something. It's another one I'm missing. They had a lot of shows that was black based.
Yeah.
And that's when they had first became, that's when Rupert, you know what I'm saying, was like, yo, I'm about to compete with these niggas. And he was like, yo, fill that shit up with black shit because I know they gonna watch it. And we're gonna get these numbers up to be able to compete. And once these numbers get up, we etching them the fuck out of here. Martin eventually goes to HBO, and Living Single is over. New York Undercover eventually becomes Law and Order because Dick Wolf was done with that, and then the rest of them was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know the one you missing.
What?
Jamie Foxx.
No, Jamie Foxx was WB.
Oh, you've been in network. I'm
talking about major network. I'm talking about But no, so network. But what I was saying was like as far as the star, like the rock star thing, right? Eddie Murphy, Martin was up there because remember he was doing blockbusters with Will Smith. Martin was up there. He had his run. After Martin, it was.
Shoot, you might have to say Chris Tucker.
Yep, it was Chris Tucker.
Money Talks and all the Rush Hours and
then after Chris Tucker, it was I want to say Chris Rock.
Or no, because Mike Epps he didn't lead nothing.
Mike Epps wasn't there. Mike Epps ain't never been there. I want to say it was Chris Rock.
Yeah, he had a few. Chris Rock had a few.
Chris Rock had a moment. And then after Chris Rock, it was Dave Chappelle. And then it was Kevin Hart.
Okay.
I might be missing a couple, but I want to say that's how it ended up going. It was Richard, Eddie, Richard, Eddie, Martin, Chris Tucker. Well, Chris Tucker and Chris Rock, you might be able to switch out. But Chris and Chris, then it was, who did I say after that? It was Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart. As far as like that rock star level, you know what I'm saying? And the only reason Dave Chappelle got up there is because of the Chappelle Show. It wasn't because of movies. Yeah. Because I think after Chappelle Show popped, that's when he started doing more shit. Yeah. But, yeah. So, you know, it's that thing too. It could be that thing too of why D.L. Hughley never got to that, you know what I'm saying, like never ascended to that because he wasn't never to us that funny, but also because at the time, shit, Oh, I did miss him. Bernie Mac. I forgot Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac was getting up there. That nigga was doing Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12. He ended up getting a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Bernie Mac was at that level. So yeah, it's that thing of it's one at a time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not here to say it's true or not, but if you look at the chronological order of things, it kind of look that way.
Okay.
But needless to say, you know, Eddie Griffin deserves all of the flowers.
Yeah,
definitely. You know all of the flowers. He deserved everything that he had in his moments. He deserves a little bit more, to be honest with you. But when you talk about just comedy, when you talk about just somebody who from start to finish can make you laugh, whether it's on stage, whether it's on a movie, a TV show, whatever. I mean, just like a guaranteed laugh. Yeah, Eddie is that guy. And you talking about somebody who's just great at whatever it is that they do. Master P is definitely that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's done it all. He's done it all. Nigga played for the Hornets.
And the Raptors.
I forgot about the Raptors. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But let's get into the Fire Flames.
All right, let's do it.
What you got?
All right. So this is like one of those things where it's kind of like, because when you look at the story, the comedy, and the acting of Eddie Griffin, it's like, yo, this movie has the potential to be a 5. But when you put everything you considered, like some of the acting, you know what I'm saying, was it up to par? Now, he like we've been talking about this during this pod. Like, I'm surprised at some of the names he was able to get in here. He was able to get some people who I appreciated. But as an overall, because I'm rambling, overall, I'm gonna give it a 4. And this is really Eddie just putting on a one-man show for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm close to a 4.5, but I'm gonna edge it out at a 4.
Okay. Okay, so I'm right there with you. You know what I'm saying? The acting wasn't up to par. Eddie Griffin, because you know he was on the TV show and he's done work. I want to say he was on like the Cosby's or something like that too. So he's been acting for a long time. So of course, you know, he's gonna show up. The cast and who they were able to get in this film is very impressive.
Yeah.
Because this ain't even a C-list, this is a D-list movie. Be honest with you. This is a D-list movie. And not because of who did it, but because this is really an independent film from somebody who really knows nothing about movies. And he was able to bring all of this together with the connections that he had because of who he was and what he's done up until this point. Is this movie great? Not by a long shot. Is this movie good? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's enough to keep you entertained. It's enough to make you watch it. I'm gonna go 3.5 though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go 3.5. For 1999, the year that we talk about it all the time, the year that 1999 was, this was not up to par with anything that came out in 1999. But
but the last 10 minutes though,
for sure, untouchable.
Primo.
Yeah, untouchable.
The last 10 minutes of this movie, but
untouchable. To let him shine like that, I thought was brilliant. And because I was gonna make this point earlier, it slipped away from me though. It's not a lot of movies where they let somebody cook like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where the focal point is like stand-up comedy, because we've seen a lot of movies about dudes that were stand-up comedians, but they didn't cook like that though. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that could have been its own special right there. So yeah, I'm gonna go 3.5.
Okay.
All right, we getting into the coming soon.
Let's do it.
All right. The next episode is I don't remember what this is. It just said Chaos.
That's the Charles Manson documentary.
The one that just came out?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Okay, cool. Okay. First thing first. This is a very interesting documentary.
Have you seen it yet?
Yes. I watched this when it came out. I'm gonna rewatch it though, because I missed a lot of stuff in there because I was very shocked on how they did this. And it's funny because on Joe's podcast they were talking about how they're getting like kind of tired of them doing like some of the same. That's what I said when I seen this. I'm like, God damn, they doing another Charles Manson doc. But the way that they do this, yeah, they held it down. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive for sure. I did not expect this. I'm gonna say that now.
I didn't either.
I didn't expect it. The way that they went with this, I didn't expect. That's really what I'm more like, like enthused about is the route that they took to get here, and some of the things that they added to it at the time, and all those other things, and then just the story of it. Yeah, they went in depth. It was nice. So we are definitely going to get into that. It's called Chaos.
It was, what was it? The story of Charles Manson. It was.
Yeah, I think it's like the story of Charles Manson, or the Charles Manson story, or something like that.
Chaos. The Mayor. Why do I keep wanting to say Marilyn
Manson? I had that same problem.
The Manson murders.
The Manson murders, yes. Yeah. So if you guys get a chance, kick back, check it out on Netflix. It's definitely worth a watch. It's really worth more than one watch, but it's definitely worth a watch. So if you get a chance, go check that out. Go watch that, and then come back, join us on the next episode where we can, deep dive and get into it. Because man, I'm not gonna lie to you, we might have to overlap on that episode. Yeah, because we're gonna get into some things.
Yeah.
We really gonna get into some things on that one. I like that. So check us out on the next episode where we will be talking about that documentary. Remember, it is called Chaos: The Manson Murders. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry. Moving too fast. If you enjoyed this episode, if you didn't enjoy this episode, if you too, you know what I'm saying, remember that scene where they was in the house and old girl came out and was ironing topless like I do, hit us up. Let us know. You know what I'm saying? You can hit us up on the socials like we said before, or you can hit us up personally. You can find me on X or Twitter at Scoots Bronson. I have a link tree in the bio. You can follow me everywhere else there.
And y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. Last episode is on, what's that motherfucking name? Wow. Carnell Jones. That's what my name is. You know what I'm saying, about the DC drug dealer. So go check that out. I was
about to say, damn, that name sound familiar.
Yeah, so go check that out on all major platforms.
I ain't gonna lie. At first, I thought you said Cardell Jones.
Yeah, I know the names are very similar.
I was about to say, why the fuck are you doing that documentary on the Ohio State quarterback? But I said a documentary, an episode. I mean, man, listen. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. Without you, there could be no us. And like always, as they're saying, I'm sorry. Until the next time, like they're saying Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.